swinging. That's what the Ducks did on National Signing Day. And when you talk big winners of yesterday, you got to start with Oregon. Ducks sitting at number 3 right now. Still some meat left on the bone, so they could still be moving up. I got Justin Hopkins from Scoop Duck on this video. We're going to find out how Oregon was able to flip 2 5-stars on National Signing Day, and still a big name on the board, set to commit tomorrow. We're covering it all. But first, Duck fans, what an exciting time this is. Jump on board. Hit subscribe. We are covering Oregon recruiting like no other, so hit subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. All right, let's bring in Justin Hopkins. Before we get to these 2 5-star flips, there was some drama with 5-star Dallas Wilson. You kind of keyed me into it the night before, right? Like, he put out this tweet with the timing of his commitment. I think it was maybe just a simple graphic, but you noted that he didn't call himself an Oregon commitment. There was no Oregon logo on there, nothing at all. And you kind of noted that. And at the time, I thought, like, oh, maybe Justin's just stirring this up. But, I mean, the experts were putting in flip picks the next morning. If you went to the Gator boards, all their insiders were sure he was coming. But in the end, Dallas Wilson inks with Oregon. What happened?
Yeah, well, it looked like Oregon got the last phone call, and that might have been the key to it all. No, Dan Lanning's among the very best at closing, and you see that once again on signing day with Dallas Wilson and with others. I think they really leaned heavily into the relationship he'd built with Junior Adams, and let's just be clear, Junior Adams was one of the very best at doing that. So, I don't fault him, and this was something I put on the radar of Duck fans a few weeks ago was, hey, look, you know what? When these things get down to actual signing, those last 24, 48, 72 hours, and you're talking about 3,000 miles away and you're not going to see mom for Thanksgiving and all those things, it becomes a much bigger deal to a 17 and 18-year-old. So I've seen it before. It'll probably happen again with the way Oregon recruits nationally. It happened a little bit with Dallas Wilson, but again, they lean on those relationships and the fact that, hey, we're going to, try and do our best to get you ready for the NFL. And we're able to close, which was really good news for Duck fans.
Yeah, I mean, that would have just ripped your heart out if you're an Oregon fan, seeing him committed for 2 years from 3,000 miles away, only to lose him a couple of hours before his signing. But the Ducks hold on. I mean, that was a big one, but there was more to come. We saw Naeem Offord. I mean, if you told me 2-3 weeks ago that Naeem Offord's flipping on signing day, he's not signing with Ohio State, I think the smart money would have been on Auburn. But, I mean, we all knew Oregon was there, but in the end, it felt like if he's going to flip, it's going to be to the in-state team. What do you think the turning point was, and how did Oregon win it?
Yeah, I think it was, from his recent visit to Oregon and the fact that they were really able to kind of just showcase the game atmosphere. And furthermore, there's this. Oregon's defense has been pretty elite this year on the field, and they're basically going to see all of that secondary off after this year, whether they're out of eligibility or they're going to go to the NFL or whatever the case might be. So you're looking at a very, very good chance to come in to a very good defense and play almost immediately if you're a cornerback or safety. So I think those two things, really, kind of resonated with Naeem Offord. And I do think there was a little bit of a chance for him to kind of get away and just kind of do his own thing. We hear about that with Oregon a lot, where you pull kids out of LA or you pull kids out of Texas, whatever, and they go to a different part of the country and just kind of experience it. So I think all of those things, of course, Oregon was competitive. NIL, let's not pretend like they got him for free. But at certain points, you just have to be competitive to be in the game. And I think, the opening and the secondary coming next year had a lot of appeal for a guy like Naeem Offord.
And then the Ducks landed a 5-star quarterback in Jaron Sagapolutele. What a finish for Oregon. Now, this one, too, the intel heading into the day was, it looks like he's going to stick with Cal. I mean, not a lot of people expected him to stick with Cal, but the fact that he made it all these weeks with his recruitment heating up, never decommitted, made it all the way to signing day, keeping true to that commitment. How was Oregon able to get him off of that?
Yeah, I expected him to go to Cal, but lo and behold, we would find out after. And the reason for that is JKS basically cut off communication to both schools. So he wasn't talking to the Cal coaches. He wasn't really talking to the Oregon coaches about 48 hours leading up to his decision. So I think they both got a little bit nervous and not knowing that, what was going on. So, for Oregon, they felt like they'd done a really good job recruiting him, made a competitive offer, all those things. Obviously, the lefty from Hawaii, you'd think, okay, we got another lefty from Hawaii. This should be a shoe-in. But, Cal's got really strong academics, got a great opportunity for him to come in and compete for the starting job there. So there was a lot of positives for Cal, too. But I'll say this. I do think that was one of the bigger surprises to Dan Lanning when he got the call and JKS let him know, hey, I'm coming. I'm going to be a Duck. I don't think it was just a surprise to us. I think it was a surprise to everybody. And so
Wow.
I'm sure if we had Dan Lanning, he'd talk openly about it. He'd probably say that was a pretty fun phone call and really helped make the day special. But yeah, another great get for Oregon, and love seeing those quarterbacks from Hawaii end up in Eugene.
Yeah, we don't see a ton of surprises like we used to on signing day, things that really catch us off guard. So it's pretty cool when one of these, does catch us off guard. I said what a finish, but it's actually not done yet. There's a major target on the board. That's Andrew Olish. He's a tight end committed to Michigan. He's going to make his decision on Friday around midday. So, I mean, hey, they missed on Lincoln Cure. I think that was a big, not an upset, but it makes this recruitment even more important. So can Oregon pull one more rabbit out of a hat before it's all over?
Yeah, I mean, we just look at it on the surface, and obviously Lincoln Cure was a guy Oregon was pushing hard for, was even in really good shape for, I think, leading up to that last night. And again, I think distance became an issue there. But yeah, with Andrew Olish, obviously you push your decision back a couple of days behind that. I would say based on that. So does that mean that he's going to stay with Michigan? Does that mean it's Oregon? Does it mean it's Penn State? I think if you're Oregon, obviously when you miss on Cure, all of a sudden Olesh gets a exclamation point in terms of recruiting him. And we know Dan Lanning loves to finish strong. So I could definitely see them being a team that gets his commitment. It looks like it's going to be Michigan versus Oregon. I don't know that this is strictly an NIL battle. Obviously, Michigan's shown that they've got NIL resources.
Yep.
We know Oregon does. So I don't think it's just going to be the highest bidder. It's going to be, where he fits, feels the most comfortable, and if leaving home is going to be an issue for him or not. So it would be great for Oregon. It would be an absolute cherry on top. I still think it's probably Michigan's to lose, but it's really close, and I guess we'll have to see how it shakes out in the next 24 hours or so.
Yeah, going to be a exciting finish there with Andrew Olish. You guys let us know, where do you think Olish is going to end up? Now, on Monday, we don't stop covering recruiting. If it gets recruited, we cover it here on the On3 Recruits channel. And on Monday, the portal opens. We know Oregon likes to get busy in the transfer portal. So what do you think the biggest need is for portal season with Oregon?
Yeah, it feels like we just finished the regular season, and now we're into championship season when the portal opens up. And I know Pete Nakos will be sitting here going, holy cow, those guys are busy.
He's already there right now.
No sleep, Pete, huh? No, I mean, in terms of Oregon, as we know, they just tend to kind of fill spots where there's weaknesses or not enough depth there. I think Oregon's going to really need to look for an offensive tackle, possibly two. Specifically, that position is going to be critical for Oregon. I don't know that they absolutely need a surefire defensive tackle, but I could see one coming in for depth and rotation purposes there for Oregon. I think those are two important positions. Whatever happens with Andrew Olish here in the coming day, Oregon would then move to a portal tight end, possibly if they do not get Olish. So that's going to be another intriguing position. And then I think you're going to have to fill in that secondary. Like I said, you're going to see all five of those guys exhausted or out of eligibility or just going to the NFL after this season. Yes, you signed a really good defensive back group at the prep level, but it wouldn't hurt to have a couple of veteran guys come in along with them. So whether that's cornerback or safety, one of each, I think those are the positions that you'll see Oregon at. I think this will be the first year in a while you don't see Oregon taking a transfer portal quarterback. I'm not going to rule it out completely, but it seems unlikely at this stage.
A tradition like no other. All right, Duck fans, talk to us. How you feeling about this class? I mean, what a finish. Not done yet. Talk to us. Comment section below.